Hey everybody, welcome back from spring break. This is Professor Lucien, and I just want to give you guys a quick update and some announcements for our 783 graduate class. On the screen here, you see a spring shot of Osthoff Resort up in Elkhart Lake, which is one of my favorite places to vacation. Next, so my April is pretty busy. This week, I will be heading up to Green Bay, Wisconsin for my final Region 5 operations meeting. I'm going to be rotating off as my role as VP for Region 5. And so it'll be my last one, but we get to walk through Lambeau Field, and so it made it all worth it. Although the weather's supposed to be kind of rough driving up on Wednesday. We'll see. We'll start having our discussion on the 7th, and we'll have it on the 10th. We will also have it on the 14th. Then I'll be at the Wisconsin Safety Conference that week. It's going to be difficult because you see these little boxes here. These are my daughter's softball games. The dark ones are the ones that I have to actually do the public announcing at. The light ones are the away games. And so I'm going to have to pull a rabbit out of my hat to make these two things work. But we will not be able to meet on the 17th. Well, maybe. I'll be back. So 17th, yes, we will. 14th, 17th, we will meet, but I'll have a lot to talk about. It'd be great if I saw any of you there. It'd be awesome. And then we've got this week, and then the last week in April, I've got the Minnesota Safety Con. I will not be able to meet on the 1st. I will be traveling back. A friend of mine, Jill James, and I, we have got 3 presentations at that conference. And so we will be exhausted, and I'll probably be getting back kind of late on the 1st. And that's all I have for now. And then the week after that is sort of presentations and papers and stuff. Here are all of the WebEx meetings are built into Canvas, and so you should see them on the side. I've got them all right here. So starting on the 7th, which I believe is Sunday, and then Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, and that'll be about it. So yeah, get any questions you want to meet at a different time, let me know. But I'd like to meet with a lot of you. So just kind of looking ahead. So this week we've got social psychology, human error, and work system model, which really fundamentally changed how I practice safety, how I view it. And this was a big part of my graduate experience. So hopefully you like it. I'm very much a systems-driven safety professional, and I like to use data as well. Next week I have a new element to add. I'm almost done with it. So I'll be adding the readings here, but more importantly, it's human and organizational performance and safety differently. And so there's a lot of new information out there. I'm going to try to just find 1 or 2 key pieces of literature to talk about, and then I'll augment the discussion questions and everything else to suit it. The week after that, I have a pretty decent lecture on safety metrics and risk-based data analysis. But this last year, I've kind of expanded my application of those ideas, and so I may be augmenting that. I'm going to show you something here in a moment, a research project I'm working on with one of my grad students as he's finishing up. And then finally, at the end, I've got a few people who have been dabbling in this now for at least a year. The impact of artificial intelligence in safety. And so I'm going to bring in some of that. That's going to be more of a fun week. There's going to be no actual assignments. It'll just be for fun, because that'll be the week you'll be working on your paper. Your paper, if you haven't already read about it, you get to pick. You get to pick what you want to look into a little bit more. Originally, this course was designed to be critical of contemporary beliefs. And hopefully by the end, maybe you pick one and you want to look more into it. Another would be to evaluate what we believe to be valid measures of safety program performance or environmental management performance, things like that. So we'll get more into that. In week 5 is when we'll really kind of kick that off, and I'll ask you guys to start submitting ideas. So I want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing over this last week, over spring break. Spent about 10 hours analyzing a very large set of data, and they're right over here. So this is the OSHA ITA, the Injury Tech Tracking application, where everybody has to upload their 300A by March 1st. And then they post them here in an Excel document. Well, it's a CSV, but then you can convert it to a Excel. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I downloaded them all and started analyzing them. the data dictionary is also very important. But the idea is we're going to do something similar, but more directed, more of like a scientific assessment of the TRIR as a measure of safety performance. We're also going to look at the DART. We're going to look at some other things too to ask, are they valid? Is this something we really should be using, or should we be using something else? So we've been talking about it for years, and then Hallowell came and printed this off, and he's been kind of touring the country talking about his work. He's a civil engineering professor at Colorado, I believe, or Colorado State, one of the two. Here were his takeaways from his work. Now, this is dedicated towards construction, so maybe it's a little bit different. But he didn't see any association between the incidence rates and fatalities. He said that the occurrence of recordable injuries was random. You already read all the things he had said here. So I just want to show you really quick some of the things that my grad student and I did. So these are the 7 years. We've got the total number of entries. You can see it's quite big. Sort of fancy myself an epidemiologist when it comes to data sets this size. But total number of employees, the total hours worked, and see how these are really big. This is in the tens of trillions. This is interesting. %0 injuries reported. It went up to 38 after 2019. Does that seem odd to you? There should be more consistency unless something was affecting it. And the thing it could have been affecting in 2020 would be the pandemic, but how did it sustain? I don't get that, especially with higher numbers. Anyway, fatality rates, these are obviously just a fraction of the overall. We're up in the 5,500s, so it's not capturing everything. That's also curious. That may be a different paper. The cases that were days away from work, these are the cases with days with job transfer or restriction. These are the other recordables, so above first aid but no time lost. These are the actual number of days that people stayed home. This is the number of days people were restricted. We're going to look into that more too. Kind of interesting. And then we've got the incidence rates down here. Call attention to 2019. These are way off. And why? Because of this number right here. One company actually reported that each employee put in like 3.2 trillion hours that year. And if you know the incidence rates calculated, the hours are the denominator. If you have a bigger denominator, the product goes down. If you have a smaller denominator, the product goes up. So that's what happened here. It's off by a factor of at least more than that even. But that was just one company. There's a few companies that they're not reporting things properly. And that's kind of the focus of the students' research, is how much of this data is really reliable. So we started out looking big at everything, and then try to identify what's kind of odd, what's fluctuating too much, and then try to figure out why. Here is, as you see here, the fatality rate and the DART rate seem to be somewhat corollary. It looks like the fatality rate's going up a little bit more, but then again, it's a modified version of the actual, so we don't know why. We got to figure that out. And then the TRIR is coming down. This is our data. Okay, let's look at some of the stuff with the BLS. So up first, how much did we remove? There were 3 phases of removal. The first one was when we had a division by 0 because we couldn't calculate anything with a division by 0. These are all the companies who submitted I have 0 employees or 0 hours worked. And so that was down here. It wasn't a lot, but it was some. The next we removed the lows. So some had said that, we had, we only had 1 worker or they only worked 1 hour. Well, we got rid of all that stuff. The limit was we want to make sure there was at least 11 employees, that they worked the company worked at least 1,000 hours, and that each employee worked at least 100 on average. That was our overall thing. And then we removed these right here, that much. Then we went and removed the lows were way up here. So there are a lot of companies that reported there's almost nobody there. Then we removed the highs, and that's where this is a crazy limit, but we limited it to, we took out anything where employees had put in over 3,250 hours, which is working like 60 hours a week, something like that. So it was crazy for a whole year on average. I still think that was too high. I think we could have taken out more, but it was a lower number. So the biggest removal was these super low hours that don't make any sense. Here is the TRIR after we did some removals. So the original and the remove the divided by 0 is this orange line right here. So it's the lowest it can be. Of course, it is being influenced by this stupid 2019. I should just take them out. I did when I showed my other thing. Next is green, and that is when we remove the low hours. And so it went up a little bit. Again, you lower something below and it's going to go up. Then we got the BLS right here. So that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We put that in there. So we were below it with the original data that was put in, even after we removed some of the really wacky stuff. Then we removed the high hours, and look what it did. Shot up to here. It starts going upward. Going upward. That's important because this is a more reliable set representation of what's really going on, and it appears to be going up. Nobody would think that. Everybody thinks everything's going down. So here is the DART. Similar thing. BLS appears to be going up a little bit. Again, ours is a little bit skewed because of this year right here. But, I mean, after we made our corrections, it gets better. But again, it's going up even more. It's going up even faster. It's going up at a greater magnitude than our incidence rates or total case incidence rate. So anyway, that's where we're starting, and we're going to be digging in even more. And I'm going to try to talk about this because we're going to be actually analyzing this real time, and I can give you guys some updates on what we're doing. So that's really it. I look forward to meeting some of you during the Sunday and Wednesday night discussion hours. I don't want to call them office hours, but they're discussion hours. You guys can email me anytime if you have any questions. Otherwise, just keep up the great work, and I hope you guys are enjoying the class. See you later.